Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. We're about to begin. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. Hello. If you can hear my voice, applaud. That's one way to get a round of applause. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the 10th anniversary Legendary Landmarks Celebration. I'm Jeffrey Baer from WTTW Channel 11, and I make and host public television programs about Chicago architecture and history. So you can only imagine how excited I was when Bonnie McDonald called me up and asked me if I would be your MC for this evening. Just such an amazing thrill for me to get to introduce these wonderful legendary landmarks who are being inducted this evening. We're going to profile their achievements in words and in film for you to enjoy. First and foremost, Landmarks Illinois wants to recognize all of you for being here tonight to honor and celebrate these three corporate and civic leaders. Give yourselves a hand. And those three corporate and civic leaders, of course, are Bulley and Andrews, Tim Samuelson, and Rocky Wirtz. And you'll meet them and you'll hear a lot from them this evening. Landmarks Illinois is overwhelmed by the response. As you can see, they have packed every available seat. I'm sorry I had to be a little bit like a linebacker getting through the crowd. I think I stepped on someone's toe. And they really want to thank you. And a special thanks to those who are watching us by video feed for being such good sports. I'm told that you will get more wine than anyone else tonight. So if anyone wants to trade with the people in the cheap seats, no, they're not cheap seats. This year commemorates 10 years of conferring legendary landmark status on Chicago's civic and cultural leaders. We're here tonight to landmark two extraordinary individuals and one significant corporate citizen who joined 29 past distinguished legendary landmarks. And tonight's event also supports Landmarks Illinois in its mission to enhance communities by saving places that define our city and our state, and by fostering the kind of civic pride that empowers people to step up and help make their communities a better place to live. Very good. You know, I actually have one side comment to make that's not on the script. I have hosted a program for PBS called 10 Buildings That Changed America. And I was thinking about the importance of preservation and about that program I hosted. And one of those buildings was the Virginia State Capitol, designed by Thomas Jefferson. So we were filming at the Virginia State Capitol. It's been beautifully restored. And they've removed a panel from the wall in one place in the Virginia State Capitol so you can see the structure inside. And the woman we were peering in the hole with our camera, and the woman pointed to one of those square nails, which were typical of the time. And she pointed to it and she said, "You know who hammered that nail into that wood? It was an enslaved person. It was a slave who hammered that nail into that wood." And you could read about that in a book, but when you can see it right in front of your eyes and even reach out and put your finger on the head of the nail that was hammered into that wood by an enslaved person more than 200 years ago, you start to feel the emotional importance of preservation. And so, I think that's just one small example of what you're here tonight to support. We're honored to acknowledge the presence of esteemed elected officials in tonight's audience. Landmarks would like to thank Cook County Board President Tony Preckwinkle for joining us. Also, Alderman Brendan Riley is here, representing the 42nd Ward. And Alderman Tom Tunney is here tonight. In my role as your MC, I get the really fun job, which is to introduce the newest legendary landmarks. We begin with our corporate legendary landmark, Bulley and Andrews. You can only imagine the impact. There it is. You can only imagine the impact on Chicago's skyline of a construction firm that's been in business for 125 years next year. Some of our most well-known buildings have been built and sometimes rebuilt by Bulley and Andrews, from the complexity of picking up and moving the Reese House, this big stone home that they picked up and moved a block down on Prairie Avenue. You should watch the time-lapse video of that. It's amazing. To the monumental transformation of the Chicago Athletic Association, the firm developed a reputation for delivering impeccable results. So let's watch a short video profiling the impact of Bulley and Andrews. And when the video concludes, you will welcome to the stage David Mosena, President and CEO of the Museum of Science and Industry, to present the award to Chairman and CEO of Bulley and Andrews, Allan E. Bulley, Jr. Let's watch the video.
It takes a special company to understand how to faithfully restore a building.
They were able to kind of offer suggestions and bring their expertise to the table in a way that without it, I don't know how we would have gotten through a lot of the surprises that came up.
Their commitment and just making sure that our desires, our goals are met really is the forefront of their philosophy. Oh, Bulley's been working on this campus way before I started here, actually probably about a century. They've been working on this campus. Some of the original buildings were constructed by Bulley and Andrews.
We chose Bulley and Andrews to do the work because they had the capabilities and the resources of a full-scale commercial contractor, but they had the nuance, the attention to detail, and just the ability also to work at a residential scale.
And to be able to save these buildings and restore these buildings, it's great. It's great for the city, it's great for our souls, it's great for who we are. Understanding the past helps us understand the future. I mean, that's what it's all about.
These big projects that he oversees, inspire future engineers and architects and scientists and millions of guests that have been here. So I think Allan Bulley is one of the great civic leaders of our city, not only as a business leader, but as a steward of historic structures. Bulley and Andrews cares deeply about Chicago and is a great champion of this great city.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's my honor to introduce Allan Bulley. Now, you saw in the film what Allan's firm has done to help shape the wonderful fabric of Chicago's historic built environment. There are a few very special people in the world, often business and civic leaders, who help make great world-class cities what they are. They do that through their vision, their ideas, their principle, their energy, and their generosity with time and resources. Allan Bulley is one of those very rare and special people. In the landmark building project that I'm most familiar with, the world-famous Museum of Science and Industry, a continuous improving landmark, Allan has devoted more than a quarter of his life to the care and stewardship of this incredible Charles Atwood Greek classic structure with an Art Moderne interior. Allan has served as trustee of the museum and chairman of our Building and Grounds Committee for the past 25 years. Continuity is very important. He also chairs our Building Preservation Committee and is a generous donor. This is not a sexy job. This is a labor of selfless love. Leaking roofs, crumbling limestone, underground parking garages, and an amazing World War II submarine exhibition buried 40 feet down in a swamp next to a lake where the water table is only 4 feet deep. Now, our Buildings and Grounds Committee at the museum, the guys he's with on this committee, they lovingly refer to the U505 exhibit as Bulley's bathtub. It's surrounded by water. I refer to it as one of the most extraordinary museum exhibits in the world, which it is. If overseeing all this is not care and stewardship for our precious landmarks, I don't know what is. Bottom line, Allan is a truly cultured gentleman with excellent taste in architecture, wine, art, literature, also neckties, plus a sense of humor, fine Midwestern values, and a BS detector that won't let anyone pull the wool over his eyes. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand and welcome my dear friend Allan Bulley.
Wow. Well, it's a good thing you're prepared, right? Thank you, David, for that wonderful introduction. I have always had the highest regard for your tireless stewardship on behalf of culture and historical preservation, and your kind words mean a lot to me. I still get a thrill when I come around the corner and I look at that submarine, which has got to be one of the great preservation projects of the city of Chicago. And thank you, Landmarks of Illinois, for this wonderful honor. When I think about preservation, two things come to mind: beauty and continuity. As a fourth-generation company, although I keep telling Allie that he ought to bring our granddaughter in, who's 11 years old and very, very bright, because then we'd have 5 generations. Anyway, we certainly understand continuity. I myself have long had a special interest in Gothic cathedrals, and through that, I've become familiar with the concept the French call patrimoine, or patrimony, from the Latin words father and continuation. It is the idea of heritage, the idea that what we inherit, we must also care for and faithfully preserve. This resonates with me personally and with our organization as a whole. My grandfather, Fred Bulley, started the firm in 1891. And as a company, we find ourselves in the enviable position of being around long enough to restore some of those same buildings that my grandfather built 100 years ago. In this sense, it is this sense of continuity that drives our company, both inside and out. We have people on our team that represent third generation of families that have worked for Bulley and Andrews. And you can imagine that that is a tremendous source of pride for me. Over the years, we've been fortunate enough to be joined by exceptional individuals such as Paul Hellerman and Mark Evans. Between Paul's keen insight and industry acumen and Mark's personification of rolling up your sleeves and getting it done, each brought with them talents that helped create new courses for Bulley and Andrews and ideas that we keep carrying forward. We have deep, fruitful relationships with clients, architects, and subcontractors, some of them even going back over 100 years. The breadth and duration of these connections represents a kind of trust, one that we value and we work to cultivate. In this pursuit, one of the things that energizes us, and I think on some level energizes everyone in this room, is a deep appreciation of beauty. We believe that building matters, that preservation matters, that certain materials, certain styles of design, certain levels of craftsmanship must endure. In them, there is a certain indefinable grace that must be preserved and cared for. At Bulley and Andrews, we consider ourselves stewards, and through the dedicated people on our team, our industry partners, the discerning clients we serve, we are privileged to help this grace, this beauty continue. We feel especially fortunate to live in a time and a place in a city that has so many extraordinary buildings and so many professionals committed to preserving them. Again, our thanks to Landmark Illinois for this honor, and thank you for all the important things you do for all of us. Oh, boy. So good. Congratulations. We're going to come over here. Want me to care for you? You got it? No, I got it.
And now I have an extremely important announcement to make. Enjoy your dinner. The program will continue at 8:15.